Hey, Roger Martin here from Billings, Montana. Good day. This is about money, and this is an introductory offer by Robert Kiyosaki.
The whole system begins to fall. The dot-com boom of 2000 and the bust, and then the subprime meltdown of '08. Both of those cut the market in half. And the storm clouds I see from where I sit are clearly visible. It's not a pretty picture for the buy and holders of 401ks.
Employee. I don't want to do that. The rich don't pay taxes legally because the government wants us to do certain things. They're incentives. They tax the stupid, the uneducated, the misinformed. So I'm using debt to get richer. Most people use debt to get poor.
Everybody get up. We've watched this great financial experiment absolutely decimated, yet people are still taking part in the experiment. And because of that, they stay stuck, they stay poor, or maybe middle class at best, with Herculean effort to say, if I have the right work ethic or I work hard enough, I'll be better off. Hard work with the wrong philosophy still equals bankruptcy.
I used to open my real estate seminars with, how would you like to know the secret to getting rich? And my answer is, go into debt as far as you possibly can.
Okay.
And then I would let there be silence in the room while people kind of digested that. But then I qualified that.
It was Einstein that said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. It was Rothschilds that said, no, compound interest tax-free. A dollar doubled 20 times is $1 million if it's tax-free. In a 25% tax bracket, it's only worth $72,000.
Wow.
When you could have had $1 million.
Unemployment is the first and only sign of growth in the economy. I see unemployment, I go, wow, if GDP is pretty flat or going up, and there's been some unemployment, that means output didn't stop. Output probably went up.
Making money and keeping money are two very different skill sets. That's the difference between making $250,000 a year and $250 million a year. As long as you keep reading about that and not doing it, you're going to stay where you're at. And I don't think young entrepreneurs these days really understand that.
The largest exchanges and cryptocurrencies are dominated by banking interests, and they're not stupid. If the public had known that the reform legislation was written by the bankers, they would never have gone for it. There's a real name for that, and it's called cartel.
One of the things that is really interesting about crypto is not only is it extremely exciting technology, not only are we seeing really, really exciting early markets, but also it's so exciting that it's bringing, a good majority of the smartest people in coding and in finance that are coming up.
Blockchain is the most exciting innovation. There's going to be trillions and tens of trillions of dollars of capital created through this system. There's going to be so much value created that all we need is one tiny little sliver of that value and we're just fine. I am going all in.
Really what needs to be...
No, that's an interesting comment by this individual. I got back up here. What was his name? What was this guy's name? Patrick Byrne. Byrne. Let me hear him again.
There's going to be trillions and tens of trillions of dollars of capital created through this system. There's going to be so much value created that all we need is one tiny little sliver of that value and we're just fine. I am going all in.
Really what needs to be explained is our wealth, our prosperity. Where did that come from? And how do we generate more of that for everybody globally? Let's not worry about what the market's going to do tomorrow. Let's not worry about people telling you it's going to crash next year, those kinds of things. Think about being an investor for the rest of your life, and let's start doing it the real way, the way that works.
Now, that's another key step here. Think about being an investor, and let's invest smart the rest of your life, and you'll be okay. Think about that. Learn how money really works, and you'll be okay. The wealth don't worry about their money. They know they're doing it right, and they no matter whether there's wars or not wars or whatever's happening in the market, they're going to be taken care of. Think about that.
The rapaciousness and mercenary nature of Wall Street and the things that they do make them impossible. We offer that expertise that does help level the playing field. At the end of the year, I calculate our average gain, and I mean, we just do really well.
Only 50% of the population is cognitively hardwired to be an entrepreneur. And the other half of us were just not programmed that way. Imagine if you had a $10,000 or $20,000 a month residual coming that just took care of you, earning a small amount off the efforts of many versus 100% of just me.
The middle class are people who may have a little bit of money, but most of the time they end up spending what they have. And the challenge with that is your business will always be a mirror of yourself. I was trying to make businesses make money, but I wasn't myself being cash flow positive. I wasn't reinvesting the money, buying properties, buying assets, making sure they were making money for me. Why would the money come my way? Money's always trying to find the best home. And if I'm not able to appreciate the money won't appreciate.
Let me just declare my bias right up front. I am a capitalist. I think capitalism is collectively the greatest thing humanity's ever created, and I'm going to prove it to you.
Look at all those names. Now let's go to the next one. I don't have time for all this. Let's speed this up.
For money revealed, and we got so excited, and Mike looks up and goes, guys, that's your trailer. And it's like, and it literally, we can do lots better trailers, and we will, and we probably can't pick, we'll pick several, but we had what Patrick and I called Overstock Day. So Patrick Byrne is the chairman of Overstock.com. It's a $2 billion company. I'm a huge fan.
Okay, now let's learn more about this guy.
Of his, he bought a film from me over a decade ago that made me a millionaire in one day, and he did it on purpose. He literally changed the price to make sure I walked out the door a millionaire. So as you might imagine, I'm a huge Patrick Byrne fan. But he has spent in the last year $105 million building a company called T0. He's a leader in the blockchain movement, is doing some spectacular stuff. We started that day,
Now I got to find out more of those. Hold it. I got to find. See, this is why knowledge is so essential. And I'm pro knowledge and I'm pro activity. If you don't know enough of the right stuff and you're not doing enough of the right stuff, you're just spinning your wheels. Hold on here. Hold on. All right, so this is Patrick Byrne. Overstock.com. He's the CEO. He's got heavy into cryptocurrency. Had some health complications with hepatitis C and supporting the deep state conspiracy theory. That's interesting. This is out of Wikipedia. Who knows? All I know is there's much more to this guy. What did this guy say about this guy, Patrick Byrne?
One day, and he did it on purpose. He literally changed the price to make sure I walked out the door a millionaire. So as you might imagine, I'm a huge Patrick Byrne fan. But he has spent in the last year $105 million building a company called T0. He's a leader in the blockchain movement, is doing some spectacular.
Okay, I gotta look this up. And somehow this Patrick Byrne is connected to this T0 crypto app. I know he's very pro Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Don't know anything else on him.
Stuff. We started that day, we interviewed Patrick, then we interviewed Jonathan Johnson, who's the chairman of Medici Ventures. We had already interviewed Ali El Husseini. We interviewed Sam, who's president of T0. And we both thought we understood blockchain, what the investment opportunities were there. Man, by the end of that day, we had it. But underneath it all was exactly what Patrick's saying, is that Patrick Byrne is doing this for a deeply spiritual reason. He's literally changing the world with this investment.
Well, we necessarily in this particular series had to really address cryptocurrency and blockchain for multiple reasons. Number one, what is the investment opportunity? How speculative is this? Is there a future? Number two, is there going to be this non-government controlled currency, in essence, that's going to be decentralized, and what might that mean as far as the future? I mean, there's a lot of implications here, but most people are confused by it, and rightfully so. But Patrick Byrne made the statement that blockchain is going to change the world more than the internet did. And of course, it sounds like a sensational statement. I almost didn't take it seriously until he started to explain it. And understanding that blockchain is basically the technology structure under cryptocurrency. Crypto is just one application for blockchain, like email is one application for the internet. Blockchain can do a lot of things. You need to know about this and what it means to really the immediate future. When I start to think about, okay, who do I want to pick? There are so many. And incidentally, we have big names. Like one that comes to mind is John Mackey, the co-founder and CEO of Whole Foods Markets, who's been a hero of mine, somebody that, I couldn't wait to sit down with and have a conversation about entrepreneurial ventures, how to generate, massive impact, how that can translate into wealth, and then have him talk about what he did with his money. Amazon bought Whole Foods Markets. Obviously he cashed out. It was a significant amount of money for him. But now, what is he doing with his money? I was curious about that. But the biggest surprise to me in this whole thing were the non-marquee names. The people that I'd never heard of before we did this, who had certain areas of expertise, that literally I sat there and said, oh my goodness, how have I been in business generating my own wealth over the years, the money I've made, and not understood the things that they're talking about, that I believe that if I saw this, and this is not hyperbole, but if I were able to absorb and watch what we learned in Money Revealed 15 years ago, my personal wealth would be 10x, maybe even 20x or more of what it is right now.
One of the people that we interviewed wrote a book, Millionaire by 30, is that the name?
Yeah.
Millionaire
Doug
by
Andrew.
30, and it's really Imran, Doug's son.
his son.
And it's literally a map that if someone had given me that book at 20 years old, you can't miss. But what's great about it, I'm 60 years old. I still can take that book, those concepts, and okay, I'm not going to make it by 30, but I can certainly build a financial fortress for myself in the next 10 years. I got to talk about Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
And it's like, so Robert Kiyosaki, I never read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm aware of this guy. I ended up at dinner with him maybe 8 or 9 months ago, and he's talking and he's saying things I've never heard. And if you're familiar with his work, you've heard some of this. It was new to me. But he's 72 years old and has $600 million in debt. Somebody said, wow, how does he sleep? Like a very rich man. I think about when he drove up.
A very rich man who pays no taxes.
That's it. And I use smart debt and I pay no taxes. And he talked about how to do that. After the interview, we go outside. We're taking pictures of him driving away in his convertible Bentley.
And that was Rolls Royce, actually.
Rolls Royce, yeah. And then he talks about how when he bought his 4th Ferrari, his wife says, the rule, the way you do this is you've got to create an asset that will pay for that. His stuff was just gold.
Complete gold. And the thing that I found fascinating, one of the things I found fascinating about Robert Kiyosaki is that as he was talking about all this, and obviously he enjoys his wealth, he set out on a path from the very beginning to accumulate wealth. He said, I didn't get out of school and want to go work and have a job. I wanted to create massive wealth. And I don't want to pay taxes. And that's one of the startling things that multiple people in our series.
Now, that's interesting. I want to create wealth, but I don't want to pay taxes. Or should you say, you want to pay as limited amount of taxes as possible. Think about that. What would you have done if you could have paid half as many taxes? How much richer would you be? How much more wealthy would you be? How much more wealthy would you be if you'd really had the wealthy mindset that these guys are talking about and the skills and tools?
Had alluded to and explicitly stated with facts and figures the massive negative impact taxes have on wealth accumulation. And that the tax code is built with incentives where there's ways for you to either reduce tax liability or eliminate it altogether. And when they start to look protractedly over a period of time, the impact of taxes, and as they lay this out, because when you're compounding your money over time and you have taxes taken away from that, the impact is literally devastating. So, but the other thing that Robert Kiyosaki did, which several did, and this is the funny thing, they're talking about money, they're talking about being wealthy. Ferraris, Rolls Royces. But the thing that he also spoke to were the people that he was disappointed in, that he had partnerships with, that were all they wanted to do was make money, but they weren't seeing the purpose, the spiritual side, the impact that this should have in wealth accumulation. Robert Kiyosaki doesn't need to work anymore. He does what he does because there's a compulsion to create value in the world, and then he wants to enjoy the wealth as a consequence of creating that value. And that was a common theme amongst many of the people who achieved great wealth and presented in our series.
I'm telling you, the names that are in this, Garrett Gunderson, Paul Zane Pilzer, Mike Dillard. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And each one of them, you know, Patrick and I joke, you know, what's our favorite interview? It's always the one we just finished. But we have done that more than on any other series. The health programs, you know, I've made a lot of modifications in my health, but I'm telling you that literal changes that I've made financially after watching this, I'm stunned.
Well, I got to tell you, another one that comes to mind that I found I was overly stimulated by in a positive way was, the Motley Fool interview that we did, going to their offices, interviewing one of the co-founders, David Gardner. And it's one thing when you sit with somebody and they're speaking, but all around me was this massive organization, and every piece of it was reflective of their brand, their brand value. Everything that guy said was manifested in every part of that office I looked at, and it was a multi-story building with lots of employees in it.
He made me want to be an investor just for the fun of it. Yeah. I mean, it's like he radiates fun and goodness, and it literally, I was changed after that.
Yeah, me too.
The whole purpose of me gushing like this, of us talking like this literally is the best series that Patrick and I have ever done. We want everyone that we love and care about to see this series. It's profound. Its impact will be profound.
Well,
I'm going to leave it go there. I don't have much more time, but it is profound. I'm going to do a website on this and a video on this with the link towards them. So if you want to see more of this, watch this video and get to that website. It's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Remember, if you don't learn how to master money, it will master you. That's it. And these are money masters which you should learn from and implement their strategies, their mindsets, and their actions. Remember, if you're going to master your money and learn how to really invest and really learn how to use taxes for your advantage as they currently exist, you're going to have to learn this stuff and learn from these masters. Again, it's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day.